makers, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarn and goodness in between. I'm Lindsay, and I'm coming to you from North Little Rock, Arkansas. As always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as AlwaysYarnFirst. Welcome. Before we get into it, I always like to start with my make-alongs. So, the Slasher Stash has ended. I have shut that down on the group thread on Ravelry. I do have one more winner for December that I polled, and that was a Ravelry winner, and it is Carn-zee. So, Carn-zee, if you're seeing this, please email me at AlwaysYarnFirst@gmail.com. And you'll have the whole month of January to get to me, and I will send off some yarn to you. So congratulations on that. We have one last month of the Chevron Year Itch, which is the Chevron blanket make-along with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. I have finished mine, which we'll talk about in a minute here. But on that note, we have started a new year-long blanket make-along. So this year, Lori and I are still doing a make-along all year long. We're still making blankets with the Sock Yarn Society box. This year's hashtag is nothing but double. So as always, just the same with this year, this last one, you can use the hashtag on Instagram. We'll pull prizes from that. Also, you can go on and there is a chat thread currently open on Arkansas Yarn Co. group in their Ravelry. And probably in a month or so, there will be a finished objects. So the only things you have to do to enter that is it has to be some kind of a blanket, and you have to hold yarn double, at least through some part of it. So Lori is making a marl blanket, which is two different yarns, two different colors held together. And I am just holding the yarn double, pretty much like what I did this last year. So I will again show you what I've already started for. So yes, so that is the make-alongs. So this is episode 28, and every episode, I like to name my episode after a song I love because I love music, all kinds. So I thought it appropriate, beginning of the year, beginning of the month, beginning of a new make-along. The song I chose was Start Again. It's by Duncan Sheik, and if you've never heard it, I have the link below where you could follow and listen to that song. So let's get into what I'm wearing. I am wearing my sweater I finished yesterday. So this is my Rocket Tee DK. The pattern is by Tanis Lavallee. I'll insert a picture where you can see it because I can't really stand up where I'm at right here. So the yarn I used for this is Arkansas Yarn Co. in her plush DK base. And this was a one-off colorway that she named Moonlight. This yarn was a gift to me, and so I mentioned it before that this is a very special sweater because I adore this color, I adore this pattern, and I adore the person who gave me the yarn. So I absolutely love this. Now, just to let you know, I'm wearing this right now, and in the picture also, I have not blocked it yet. But like I said, I just finished this yesterday, and the picture was right when I tried it on afterward. It fits great. I'm sure it'll be fine. But I knew if I blocked it, it would not be dry for the podcast today. So I wanted to wear it, but I will probably block it tomorrow. So that goes into also finished objects. So obviously, this was one finished object. I don't have the other two right next to me, but I finished two other things. So I mentioned I finished my Chevron baby blanket and throw pattern, which was my year-long make-along blanket. I finished it, actually, Lori and I had filmed our video for the January unboxing where we show our blankets. And I didn't have it done for that video, but I finished it that day. So I had snuck in a picture in that video. So yeah, I love this blanket. It's very big. It's luxurious for sure. I'm excited that we're making blankets again this year, but this year, as we'll show soon, I'm not making as big of a blanket. I am really making a throw this year because I don't need another full size blanket. So, and that was using all of last year's Sock Yarn Society club colors, plus her graphite color and wedding cake, all in the yummy sparkle base. The third thing I finished is that extra chunky ear warmer I was working on. It was the Amina ear warmer, and I was using Wool Ease Thick and Quick in the gray marble colorway. I finished it, and it's huge. I don't love it. So it is finished, it is intact, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I may tinker it. You know how if you've ever finished something that you don't love, it's like, okay, fine, whatever. And you just kind of throw it. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. So, but it's done. I may tinker with it, so who knows. So that's my 3 finished objects, but this is my first finished one of this calendar year, so I'm super excited about it. All right, so let's get into what I have cast on. So after December and all the Advent knitting, I pretty much was focusing December on Advent, my husband's sweater, and my blanket, which I all finished by the end of December. So I was super excited. But I felt like I was kind of burnt out just doing those things. Now I have a bunch of whips going, which we'll talk about in goals. But because they're part of my Whips Make 9 board, and I've taken them off my cart and I've put them in a cubby because I'm trying to focus on one of those at a time because they've been sitting around for a while. So my cart kind of looked empty, and I'm like, I think I need some new cast-ons. So the first thing I did is I wanted to cast on a new sweater. This sweater is on my regular Make 9 board for the year. It is the Bright Side by Espace Tricot. It is housed in this Oh Wow bag that I love from Lavallee and Amina. I did look before this when I was putting the links in, and I don't see this bag anymore. I don't know if they'll get more. These Oh Wow bags, they don't have an online shop themselves. They literally make them and distribute them to different stores, and each store is completely different. So it's kind of hard to get the exact same bag you've seen other people. Everyone is unique pretty much. So yeah, this is on my Make 9, and I haven't gotten very far. So this is as far as I've gotten. And it looks tiny, but it is the collar, and it's very stretchy because I made sure. So I kind of started a new trick of I am super tight with casting on. For a while there, I've tried to do stretchy casts on. Yeah, it does not work. So then I was casting on with like a needle size, like 2 sizes up, which was fine. But sometimes if you're taking it with you, you don't want to have to remember, oh, I need to bring these other needles that isn't in the pattern. So in my knitter's planner, actually, there was a page that says if you cast on tightly, just cast on both your needles. So I kind of put my needles side by side and cast on over them both. So it's plenty of room on the cast on. So I'm interested to see when I get to the point where I can try this on, how it works for that. So this is a pretty much very basic style pullover. Sure, you've seen it, heard about it. It is a free pattern, and this is yarn from Arkansas Yarn Co. again, and this is in Yummy Plush, and the color is mint condition. This was one I very much remember. I feel like it was in the spring maybe. And my daughter and I were at Target, and she was looking for clothes and she was trying them on, and I was waiting for her outside, and I saw this sweater, which was a basic looking pullover, and it was in this mint color, and I'm like, oh, that must be like a hot color right now. Like, oh, I want that sweater just because of that color. And just as I was standing there waiting for my daughter to try her clothes on, I looked up Arkansas Yarn Co., and on the front page was literally this color. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm getting a sweater quantity of that. So, love this sweater. And I think it'll be really cute. And the bonus is, I wanted to start this also because Casey from Young Folk Knits is having a current knit along for the Bougie Sweatshirt Cow. And it is pretty much any pullover sweater is included. Can't be a cardigan, has to be, pullover. So I wanted to start this to kind of enter that knit along. So yeah, just starting on this, but now that I'm done with my rocket tee, we'll get more love on this, especially because I like to use this set from Knit Picks I have. These are all like 16-inch circulars. Let's see, I have them right here. They're called Knit Picks Options, and I love this set. So I'm using one size right now. My daughter has one size, and the other size I was using for the Rocket DK on the sleeves to finish it. And so I had started this before this was done, and I realized you need to go a little bit and then switch to the size I was using for my Rocket. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I need to really finish this because I need those needles. So I did finish it before I had to switch sizes. All right, the other thing, I have cast on, so let's talk about the new blanket for the year. So this is in what will be my new blanket bag. This is from By the Bay Bag Co. This is an El Grande bag, if you like this size. It is massive. It has 2 very sturdy handles. It has a drawstring. It has basically 4 pockets on the outside, 2 big pockets on the inside, and it looks completely empty because, I have the beginning of a project in it right now. So, let's see. Get out what I'm working on here. All right, so I'm using another free blanket pattern this year. This one is crochet, and it is from Hedgehog Fibers. This is called the Chevron Fade. So this pattern, the way she does it, it is a fade, Marlin colors. It's like color 1 twice, then color 1 plus color 2, color 2 twice, color 2 plus color 3. I had thought about doing that, but for me, using the subscription box, I kind of like those colors to shine, and so that you can really see what the color is. Because, I'm not going to get those colors again later. I can't go back and get more. So I really wanted to be able to see what they were. So I have decided this pattern, she has basically 17 strips of chevrons and then the border between. So what I'm doing is I'm making my chevron just a little bit wider, and I'm going to do just 12. So I'm literally doing a chevron piece per month. So, yeah. So here is January's color. It is kind of like the wedding cake, the sparkle. Of course, I'm getting sparkle again this year with some pinks, blue, green, yellow speckles. Really nice. So, I already have quite a bit done. Now, the thing with this crochet chevron, she even tells you in the pattern, she's like, this will roll until you get a border on. So, I'm not worried about it, but right now it kind of, if I hold it like this, it looks a little bit like a mess. So, but this is my chevron. So, yeah. I love it. So for the border, so last year I used graphite and wedding cake. You know, it was kind of like a border between colors. This one has the border around each strip. And I was thinking, so this is going to be a decorative piece on my bed. I have a king size bed, and I usually have a white or navy blue duvet cover on the top. So I wanted something to go with that. And I had already had 3 skeins of this, which is Silent Service in the sparkle from Lori, in my stash for a sweater that I decided I don't think I'm going to make. So I thought blue would be excellent for this purpose. And it'll be nice and bold to cut off between each color. So I will be using, this is the only other color besides the monthly box colors that I'll be using. So yeah, I haven't worked on this for a little bit, so I need to pull it out again. Again, I'm holding the yarn double. You can see I'm using from the outside and the inside for this. But yeah, so if you haven't already, go on my channel here and watch the January unboxing video, and under that I will also have the pattern Lori is using. She is doing the Melting Marl Blanket by Stephen West. So, but I will put this pattern and all the other patterns below on what I'm using. All right, so I have one more thing that I cast on. This one is not in a bag, it's just laying on my cart. So a few weeks ago, maybe, I found out a friend of mine is pregnant, and still many months away. But I have found in the past that when I think, oh, I have so long to make those baby items, and they're small, so no problem. I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then it comes upon me, and I don't want to make them. And so I thought I would at least with one item get started on it. So this is going to be a blanket that's been in my kind of wish list on Ravelry for a while because I think it's cute. It is called Envol. And I just went to Joann's and I got this. I have a full skein here. I got skeins of this. It is Lion brand, and it's 2 of Wands Hue and Me chunky wool. So it is acrylic and wool, and this color is, let's see, do I have it here? Haze. My friend is having a girl, but there's a lot of people that I think are going to knit for her, so I didn't want to just do all pink things. And so I chose this one, which is kind of like a grayish purple. And this pattern too has a unique texture, and I wanted to be able to see that. So I thought this would be a nice color to see that. So yeah, this is how far I am. So I'm basically just on the border of the blanket. I'm not even in like the regular patterning yet, but I just wanted to get it on my needles, like I said, just so I have it and can spend some time working on it. So yeah, finished objects, cast ons. Okay, besides those, I've only touched 2 other things that you have previously seen here. So let's get into whips. So first thing I only touched today, but I'm going to show it. So this is in my bag from Knit for Brains. It's my Care Bear bag. And you've seen this before, but I haven't touched it for months, honestly. This is just some DK socks I'm making for a friend of mine. And I'm using Legacy Fiber Arts Dragon Eggs 2 in DK. And so you can see my stitch markers. Last time I showed it, I've gotten a bit done. But I finished off the toe this morning. And so you can see there's no heel, so I will cut in a heel. But I was kind of stalled at this for a while because I only have one skein of this DK, which is plenty, but I wanted to make sure I weighed it so that I had enough. So I did that, and my friend, has the same size feet as me. So this, I know, will be good. But yeah, I finished one sock, so I will need to cast on another sock, and then I'm going to use a different color for the heel. So, old whip there. And then the other whip is part of my whip make 9 for the year. So I have been doing this one at least 30 minutes every morning. Again, I'll talk about that more in goals, how I'm accomplishing that. But you will see, compared to where my marker is, if I can get untangled here. This is in another By the Bay bag co, just kind of one of their older bags that I got from DFW in 2019. So, all right. So if you see the duck, that's where I showed this last time. So you can see I've made a decent amount of progress, considering this is the church shawl. The pattern is by Arkansas Yarn Co. And I am just using Universal Bamboo Pop in the color High Tide. You pretty much just go until you run out of yarn. And I'm getting there. Although this yarn, because of the bamboo, it always looks like it's a small ball, like, oh, I'm almost done. Oh, I'm almost done. And then I'm like, how is there so much yarn left? It is, you know, a small little ball, but one skein of this, I'm telling you, you can make a decent sized shawl. So yeah. So now I can move that up, and this is one I'm focusing on as my, well, technically my second whips make 9 board. So yeah. All right, that is all I have worked on in the last 2 weeks. So let's go into acquisitions. So obviously with acquisitions, I got the January color for the sock yarn. I got a baby blanket quantity of this Lion brand. But I got some other things. All right, so I had mentioned this the last podcast that I had got an email from Madeline Tosh. They have a collaboration with Shibui Knits right now, and they announced that Shibui Knits was going out of business. And the Shibui Knits that they showed, the cloud base, I was in love with. And so that came. These are all mohair. Look how much this looks like, this color here. I love it. I don't know what I'm going to use these for. Originally my instinct was to buy this because blue, obviously my favorite color. But I kept looking at this color and I could not take my eyes off it. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to make with this, but this color is stunning. So I got 2 of those. So I got 3 skeins of mohair. And then I received a package from Maureen, who is Charming You. Now, if you've been watching for a while, I met Maureen this year, or I guess technically last year, at DFW Fiberfest. I had never heard of Charming You. Her area was just amazing, adorable. Her yarn's gorgeous, and I talked to her for quite a while. And Maureen had told me that she'd been dying. I think at that point she said less than a year, which I could not believe it. I called Lori at Arkansas Yarn Co. because I was kind of like scoping things out for her to let her know what I was seeing there, the Fiberfest. I'm like, you need to look up Charming You. I feel like this is the next big indie dyer. Like, her aesthetic is just right there. It's so good. So, when I was at DFW, I bought one skein because I wanted Lori to see her yarn. Well, of course, Lori's favorite color is pink. I love pink too. This is the one I bought at DFW Fiberfest. Gorgeous. This is in the chibi sock, 80% wool, 20% nylon, 2-ply. And I don't see a color on this. Oh, I think this was like a one, like an oopsie color, so there is no colorway on this. But I had seen a skein of yarn that I wanted to buy from her, and I didn't. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it, of course. And then she was out of stock for a long time. And then I messaged her. I'm like, oh, are you going to get that back in? Because I'm really regretting I didn't buy that. So she got it back in, and I ordered it. And so this is it. This colorway is called Rain Man. R-E-I-G-N. Rain Man. And I decided to try a different base. So this is the Lush sock. It's 85% merino wool, 15% nylon, 4-ply. So, love this. I can't wait. But Maureen sent me a bonus skein of yarn. This is one, now this is going to be a one-of-a-kind too, I'm pretty sure. Because she was saying that she was trying this one out and she didn't, she's going to change some things about it. So here it is. It's like this blues going into purple, if you can see that right there. I mean, just gorgeous. So, yeah, so this one is called Midnight Serenade. Again, it's on the Lush sock where I just ordered the 8515 4-ply. So, the cool thing that I want everyone to know about Maureen is because I had told Lori about her, they connected. And Maureen is coming to Arkansas Yarn Co. She will be there in person with her yarn for a trunk show February 11th on Saturday. Her yarn, though, will be in store from the 11th through the 18th of February. So come if you can. To Malvern, Arkansas Yarn Co. to be able to see and squish Maureen's yarn in person. If you can come the 11th, I beg you to do so because Maureen is such a sweetie and I'm so excited she's coming over. So I thought it'd be fun to give this yarn away. Maureen graciously gave it to me. But I want to share it with one of you, especially if you've never heard of her. I want you to try her yarn. I want you to go online to enter for this. I want you to go on the website, charmingyou.com, and I want you to look at her colors, and I want you to comment below this video and say which color you love from Maureen's collection. I guarantee you it'll probably be hard to pick one. But I want you to enter below with that comment. You will have all this month to enter under this video. The beginning of February, the first podcast, I will announce the winner and give this away. So super excited. It'll be right in time. Then I'll get to see her in person again. So super special. She is super sweet. All right. I got one other thing, which I'm also very excited about. So, you probably have seen the Lina 52 weeks of socks, 52 weeks of shawls, and they've come out with a new one. This is 52 weeks of easy knits. When I saw this was coming out, when they were teasing it, I don't have the other two books. I wasn't interested really, but I was very curious about this one. Because sometimes you want a sweater, but you want something easy. I'm all for cables and lace and color work, but sometimes you're just like, I want to cast on a mindless sweater. A mindless, like, big sweatshirt style or whatever. So I was very interested in this one. And I messaged Lori immediately and be like, are you going to get that? Because I'm going to order it through you if you're going to get it. So she did. She ordered these books because I bugged her about it. but she still has some. So I definitely suggest this book. There is lots of great patterns. Of course, there's things in it from shawls and smaller projects, but there are so many. This is the one I saw online when they were teasing it. I love it. I mean, and then the sweater on the front. So actually, there's one in here. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Oh, okay, maybe it's the first one. Yes. So before I finished making my Make 9 board, my regular one, I went through this book and decided to put one of them on. So this one I have added to my Make 9 for this year. It is literally pattern 1 in this book, and it is called Give Me the Tea. And it is in sport weight, and I even found enough yardage of a yarn in my stash that I can make this, so even better. So I definitely suggest this book. I believe on the Arkansas Yarn Co. website, I feel like it might be $48. So, you know, which isn't cheap for a book, but you have 52 patterns, and there is a lot of garment patterns. And I know for me, I think of garment like on average US dollars, I'm thinking $7 to like $12 a pattern. So that's a lot of patterns for the money. So I definitely suggest getting this book. I think it is really great. All right. So that is all of the things I have to show. Yes. So let's get into spinning. So I have previously showed these Rolex. This is from the Woolly Witch. I had bought 2 bags of this. There's 5 ounces in each bag. I had finished, I believe the last podcast, I had finished spinning my whole first bag. I have since plied and made a skein of yarn, and oh, I love it so much. Now, I didn't get all of the yarn I plied together, but I would say probably this is about 4 ounces, and this is the most yardage I have gotten a skein so far. So this is about 4 ounces, and I plied it together, and it is 481 yards. And I'm super excited about that, especially knowing that I have another ounce on my spindles. And then I had, well, I've done 2 more roll legs, but I had another 5 ounces. And so I mean, I should be able to definitely make some kind of garment, even if it's like no sleeve, tank top kind of thing or something. And that was the whole point. That's why I got 2 bags of this, because I wanted enough to make a garment. I have little bits of fiber that I love, but I don't know what they're going to go in. They'd have to go in like a color work where you don't need it for the whole project. But this one, I am dying to make a garment. So I'm very, very motivated. So yeah, that is the plying made a skein, and then I've been spinning more of it because I really want to get into some of these gritty knit bats, especially because I subscribe to the Gritty Knits bat of the month, which means I'll be getting another bat soon. So yeah, all right. So that's all the spinning I have. So let's talk goals. Let's talk end of year, what I worked on, New Year goals, and Make 9 boards. All right, so I have my stats here. I know that some people are doing separate videos on what they made. My stuff is all over, some things gifted. I'm just going to tell you like what kind of items I made. I don't feel like making a whole video just on those said items. But, so my year end, I finished 40 finished objects this year. 9 which were garments. And the reason I say garments is because I make a lot of, t-shirt style, no sleeves, but all of those I include in there. I made 6 shawls, 6 pairs of socks, 1 pair of fingerless mitts, 4 sets of dishcloths. I do 2 dishcloths to a set, basically. I finished 3 blankets, 4 headbands / hats, 2 cowls, and then 5 I put in as miscellaneous, like the Sophie scarf. I didn't know where to put that. And then like some yarn cozies, things like that. I didn't really know what to put, so those all go in miscellaneous. So yeah, I feel really good about that. I mean, 9 garments, that's a lot. My goal is always to eventually make like a sweater a month. Like, so you come out the end of the year with 12 sweaters, essentially. So 9, that is not bad at all. And one of that was my husband's sweater. You know, that was a big sweater. So my yarn in and out. Here we go. So my yarn in for the whole year is 147 skeins. My yarn out is 160 skeins. So I had more yarn out than I had yarn in. So that's super exciting. So when it comes to goals for this year, 2023, that is still a goal of mine. That will like just forever be a goal, is to not have more yarn in than out. And again, if you're new here, how I calculate that is any new skein that comes in that is at least 50 grams. So a 50 gram skein, 100 gram skein, or whatever counts as 1 skein. And that includes my spinning. So when I finish a skein, if it's at least 50 grams, that counts as a skein in my stash. Now those Shibui Cloud, those are 25 grams each. So I don't count those. Minis, I don't count those. So, you know, my Advent calendar I counted as 1 skein, which was day 25. So yarn out is, again, same thing. But if I start a project and I open a skein and the project only uses like, let's say 50 grams out of 100, that skein I consider out, because now it's just scraps and it goes into my basket of scrap yarn. So as long as I've used it. Now, I do not count yarn in or out until it is in or out of the house, per se. So once I ordered it, I don't count it as in till it has made it into this house. I don't count my yarn until I have washed it and it is a skein ready to use for knitting. That is when I count this as a yarn in. Yarn out, I do not count them when I'm caking it up for a project, because what if I end up hating the project and I decide not to do it? If, you know, it's caked up, but I don't go into that yarn cake, it is still a full skein. I didn't use it at all. Now, if I use it at all and then I finish the project, then that counts as out. But I don't count the yarn out until I have used up the ball as I'm doing it. So my goal, more out than in, still again. Now, you're going to find that hard to believe because I've already showed you quite a bit. And Lori today is dyeing me yarn for a cardigan where I'm getting Surrey and fingering, basically 9 skeins of yarn. But saying that, a lot of the projects that are on my Make 9 for this year, I already have in stash. So I'm just kind of starting off with getting a lot of yarn, but that is not going to be like that all year. So I have no problem with that. Let's see. So I have 2 Make 9s going, and I'm going to insert pictures. So the first one I have is whips. And this is already the first one finished off that Make 9. This is my first one that I wanted done. You saw that I was working on the church shawl, which will be the next one that I have completed. My goal is every day to do 30 minutes a day, at least, on the whip Make 9 list. Because some of those, like this wasn't hard. I wanted to finish this. I wanted to work on it. But this church shawl, like I said, it just like, I feel like I keep going and I'm surprised I still have yarn left. So I have to force myself to just keep working on it. And because I have 9, if I would finish one a month, I'd still have 3 months left of the year. So I figure as long as I'm devoting at least 30 minutes a day, they will get done. And sometimes you kind of get in a groove with it where you kind of go past the 30 minutes. So I have 1 done, 8 to go on that list. And then I have a Make 9 board of things that would be, new cast-ons. So again, you saw that I have cast on the bright side, and that is the first thing I've cast on that is on that Make 9. The next thing I will be casting on is the Lamana cardigan, and that's the one that Lori is dyeing yarn for me today. Her and I are both making that cardigan together and in the same color. So that will be shortly cast on. Also this year, I have plans to make at least 1, maybe 2 shawl designs. I have them in my head, and I have the motivation and reason why, which we'll talk on a future podcast. But so yeah, I'm really excited. I'm very nervous because I never thought I would design anything. So stay tuned to see how that goes. So that is all. I'm kind of keeping my goals pretty low key. As I've mentioned before, I do this knitting for relaxation, for fighting anxiety, for joy. I don't like to have so many goals where I feel overwhelmed. Saying that though, like every month I kind of have like a loose goal per se. Like I'll look at the projects on my cart here and I'll be like, I really just want to work on my crochet blanket this week. Like didn't work on it last 2 weeks. I'd like to have it done before we, shoot another video. So I'm just going to devote this week to really work on that. And that's fine. I like to have a goal in mind. I just don't like to be so hard pressed to get it. So yeah. All right. So I think that is it for this week. Yeah. So if you do use Ravelry, please go to my group page on there. I've opened up a thread for any suggestions of maybe make-alongs you would like to see this calendar year. So far, they've been smaller items that people want, hats, mittens, shawls, things like that. So I'm just kind of, trying to think of ideas that maybe instead of having 2 big year-long ones, to have a couple smaller ones here and there, like a month or 2 months long. So any ideas or things that you're interested in knitting or crocheting, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. I thank you so much. I do have, some personal goals as far as, gaining a wider audience here on YouTube. So all of your kind words and your shares and all that are so helpful. So I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.